Jonathan Moore sits in jail, charged with 2 counts of murder. Meanwhile, Carolyn Davis's family mourns the loss of 2 family members. Moore was caught driving under the influence 5 times, 4 convictions in Dallas County and 1 in Tarrant County. He served only 2 months of prison time. Time and again, his sentences were reduced and he was set free.
I think the system failed this family.
Dallas personal injury attorney Ramesh Shamia says it's time that Dallas County prosecutors take a stronger stance against repeat DWI offenders. You see, once a driver gets a 3rd DWI, it becomes a felony. But even then, Shamia says the offender often gets probation.
That's not good enough. They don't prioritize these cases. They prioritize the cases where people are dying, where they're getting raped, where they're getting kidnapped, where they're being injured.
But should they?
They should, because for example, in this particular case, you have 2 family members that died as a result of somebody getting back on the streets when he should have been put in jail.
In 2017, 39% of all fatal crashes in Texas involved a drunk driver. That's 10% higher than the national average. Those drunk drivers were 4.5 times more likely to have prior DWI convictions than drivers with no alcohol, making Texas the 4th worst state for deadly cases involving repeat offenders.
When you're putting the public at large at risk by driving under the influence, and you're continuing to repeat that offense, at some point we need to put those people behind bars. You know, they're not learning their lessons. So after 3 times, give me a break. They need to go to jail.
Now, we did reach out to the DA's office for an official response. A spokesperson there says they have no comment at this time. Back to you guys.